Chords are like different places in a city. Each place has a purpose, and that helps decide how you get there. This is also how chord progressions work. The way you move between different chords will have a big impact on the sound and feel of your music. And once you can build chord progressions, then you can go on to construct whole songs. You might have watched videos on YouTube that make this seem difficult or complicated. I'm going to change that and get you real results straight away with the Chord City System. So in this video, I'll show you how to write your first chord progression using the Chord City System. I'll reveal how this can be used by anyone, including if you don't play an instrument or if you've never written a song before, and how you only ever need 2 types of chord to write amazing songs. Welcome in. My name's Matt, and on this channel I help people to write their first song. In my over 20 years of songwriting, I still find the most interesting part to be building chord progressions. The range of sound and feeling you can get from chords is amazing. But the big problem for many is that they can become overwhelmed. There are so many chords and all sorts of complicated theory that it can be impossible to know where to start. Maybe you're a new guitarist who can only play a few simple open chords and you feel like this is holding you back. Or you don't play any instrument but want to get into making music electronically. This is why I developed the Chord City System. In our day-to-day life, we move between different places to do different things. We understand that the order we do things in a day can affect how we feel, and this will change depending on our schedule. Chord progressions are much the same. You move between different chords to create different sounds and feelings. Many patterns repeat, like your normal working day, but there is also space for variation and difference. This concept makes visualizing and building chord progressions much more straightforward for beginners. So let's look at the chords that will make up the buildings in our city. The first and most important chord is C major. C major is a simple chord to play on guitar and piano. In a Chord City system, C major is home. What feelings do you associate with home? I'd say safety, comfort, stability and security. If we're going about our day, then we almost always start and end at home. And from home you can go anywhere you like in the city. So I'll put C at the bottom of our map and draw a little house around it. The next chord is A minor. Again, this is an easy chord to play on guitar and piano. You can think of A minor as a garden for our house, or if you don't have a garden, you can also consider it like a public park. It's another place to relax and unwind. Many would consider it an extension of the house, as they are closely related in function. You might not use it all of the time, particularly if the weather's bad, but it's still somewhere you feel at ease. As such, you can move freely from C major to A minor and it will sound good. They are 2 of the easiest chords to change between on the guitar, so are a great basis for chord progressions. I'll add A minor next to our house and draw a tree around it. All other chords will be either major or minor, so there are no complicated chords in this city. Everything in the Chord City has been harmonious and relaxing so far, so let's bring in something a bit different now. What emotions do you associate with work? Maybe you love your job, but for many people it's somewhere that is stressful and tiring. This leads to the phrase, living for the weekend, where you hate work so much that you are just tolerating it to enjoy your days off. This place of tension is where our next chord lives, G major. G major is another simple chord to play on guitar, and you'll see it everywhere in popular music. G major is going to be our office block or workplace in the city. It makes you tense, and the longer you are there, the more you want to go home. A few people might want to hang out here longer if they love work, so this will come down to personal preference. I'll put G major in an office block to the west of the city. How do you move around a city? Walk, cycle, car? It obviously depends on your circumstances and where you live. But for many bigger cities, a train or metro system is critical for keeping things running. But why do people use the train? Where are they going? Well, the short answer is everywhere. You take the train to go to work in the morning. You might take the train to go shopping or for a hospital appointment. If you're heading out for a few drinks, it's probably a good idea to take the train instead of driving your car. Whatever our destination, heading to the train station signals that we're going somewhere. This role will be played in our Chord City with the chord F major. It will provide movement. Now I know that beginner guitarists struggle a bit with the F chord because even in open position, it involves barring some strings. If this is a problem for you, then don't panic. As you'll see, we don't always have to use this chord in our progressions. I'll put F at the north of the city and represent it with a badly drawn train. Where do you go to relax in public? What about if you want to meet a friend or take a break before or after work? Many people will head to their local coffee shop. It's somewhere where you go to socialise, to escape the grind of work or get a caffeine boost for your commute. It's a place of movement, hustle and bustle, but with a more relaxed edge compared to the train station. In our Chord City, the coffee shop is represented with the D minor chord. I'll put this in the east of the city. Is there somewhere in your home that you don't see much? Maybe a room or space which exists mainly for storage? I'd consider a loft or an attic like this. It's part of your home, your safe and relaxing space, and yet you don't see or use it every day. This is going to be played by the E minor chord, which I'll place in the roof of our house. This chord won't feature in the example progressions coming up, but you are free to use it, and it's a useful part of the city. If you want to start using chords in the city but don't know how to play an instrument, then I strongly recommend HookPad. HookPad is a musical sketchpad with music theory built in. It lets you quickly and easily create and store song ideas. It's free to get started, so click the link in the description now and follow along as I guide you around the Chord City. Now we have a map of the city, you can start to think about how you'll move around it. This is how we build chord progressions. You can think of each stop on your route as part of the progression. You are of course free to move around the city as you see fit. Feel free to try things out and experiment, but just like real life, there are some routes that are more popular than others. I'll show you some of these journeys now. Please note that I will always end the journeys with our home chord, C major. You don't have to do this, but it helps to provide a point of rest before moving on to other examples. The first journey is probably the most foundational. It's the basis of many chord progressions and has a nice blend of rest, movement and tension. It highlights the importance of home and work in our lives and progressions. It's home, train, work, home, or CFGC. Many songs are written with 3 major chords and a single minor chord. The next progression is arguably the most popular of these. It's C, G, A minor, F. Pay attention to how the home of C major and garden of A minor sound compared to the office of G and the train of F. This progression is a great example of how the different parts of Chord City feel. So far we've always started with the security of home, but what if our journey begins somewhere else? Imagine starting your day in a coffee shop, trying to relax and get ready for what's ahead. You then head to the office for a day of work and finally make your way back home for the evening. That's how we'll build the next progression, D minor, G and C. Listen out for the use of the D minor chord at the beginning. Next up is another journey that begins at the coffee shop, but this time we take an extended break, moving to the garden, then home, and finally ending up at work. Listen for how the tension is only ramped up at the end with the G major chord before resolving with C major. It shows the importance of chord placement when building your own progressions. In the next progression, we start at home again, and then go from the train to the coffee shop. We've heard these chords before, but not in this order. This shows you how where you place chords has a big impact on how they sound in your progressions. Listen out for how the D minor chord sounds after the F major chord. The next example uses the most popular collection of chords, but this time starts with the garden with A minor. This gives it a smooth beginning and then it has a descending feeling as we move towards the C major chord at the end of the progression. Always be mindful of where C major lies in your progression, as the power of home is always present in music and will shape the sound of the city. Earlier we saw how pairing two minor chords together provides a gentle melancholy. Here's another use of this idea, this time moving from the comfort of the garden to the bustle of the coffee shop in a classic smooth transition. Now you've learnt some of the most common journeys around the city, you will have the confidence to travel your own path. There are no areas you can't travel to, so try and experiment with putting chords in different orders and see what you like the sound of. The problem with the Chord City is that it's much bigger than it first appears, and it extends beyond just chords. Navigating this world is difficult and can take years to master. I have a secret guide that will get you there sooner, so watch the video on screen now and learn how to write your first song.